The Senate will come to order. The senators will please take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privilege of the floor will please retire to the gallery. The senators and all in attendance will stand and be led in prayer by the Reverend Louis A. Florio, Jr., Messiah Lutheran Church, Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Good morning. I invite you to bow your heads with me for prayer. Almighty God and Creator of all, we give you thanks for this day before us with its many blessings and opportunities to do good. We rejoice in the gifts of family and friends and neighbor, to be living signs of loving community together, the care of which is ultimately why we gather this day. This legislative body, with its elected officials and the support of staff, has been asked to discern both small and great matters, all of import to our neighbors and the care of our world in some way. Send your wisdom to help in this discernment. Guide all members to be patient with one another and to energetically seek together to establish justice and peace with mercy. We ask that your goodness be made manifest through today's proceedings and that all those present prove one in selfless, dedicated service for the good of all who live in, work in, or visit our beloved Commonwealth. Amen.
Amen. Clerk will call the roll. All those present will please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Mr. President. Senate Journal for Thursday, February 15, 2018.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 36, noes 2.
Ayes 36, noes 2. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the House of Delegates. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
A fantastic Friday to you, Mr. President.
Fantastic Friday to you too, Senator.
I respectfully move that we waive the reading of any communications from the House of Delegates, sir.
I thank the senator. The question is, shall the reading of the communication be waived? All in favor of waiving the reading of the communication from the House of Delegates will please record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 3.
Ayes 35, noes 3. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. The clerk will report any communication from the governor.
We do not have one, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The disappointment in the room. Now comes the time in the morning hour where we have the honor and privilege of welcoming our distinguished guests here in the gallery. As my daily friendly reminder, I remind everyone that the way this will proceed is the senator will stand and recognize the individual or group. I will then immediately offer the warm welcome of the Senate, and then we will all clap together at once. So thank you all so much for your cooperation. I'd like to begin by recognizing the senior senator from Virginia Beach, Senator Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for purposes of an introduction.
I thank the senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask you to give a warm welcome. We have the chairman of the Brunswick County Republican Committee. And Mr. Chairman, he's not just the chairman of the Republican Party down there, but he's really very active, runs a very, very successful small business down there in the heating and air conditioning. And he's been a real stalwart and one of the guys that if you just ask him, he'll give you the shirt off his back and you ask him to do something and he will be there regardless of what your political persuasion, party, or anything. He and his wife are some of the most generous people I've ever met. It's one of the joys, Mr. President, when you run statewide, you do get the opportunity to meet an awful lot of folks out there and realize just how good all Virginians are. And so on behalf of the senator from Mecklenburg, I'd ask you to give a warm welcome to the Senate.
I thank the senator. Eric Brazil, please rise in the gallery if you're able. Eric, thank you so much for joining us here today in the Senate. We want to echo the really eloquent words of the senior senator from Virginia Beach and thanking you for your civic participation with the Republican committee there in Brunswick County. We also thank you for your small business ownership and for what you're doing to provide jobs here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're grateful to folks like you who really dedicate themselves every day to making our Commonwealth a better place. And so on behalf of the senior senator from Virginia Beach and the senator from Mecklenburg, Senator Ruff, we welcome you here to the Senate. We greet you. You're welcome here anytime. And I would ask everyone please to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to Eric Brazil. Eric, thank you also for the Brunswick stew. We all really enjoy that every year. So the senior senator from Richmond City, Senator Sturdivant.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, Senator.
I rise for two introductions.
The senator has the floor.
Mr. President, joining us in the gallery today is the daughter of my seatmate, the senator from Spotsylvania. Nikki Reeves is with us because she's interning in her dad's office on Fridays. And when she's not interning in her dad's office on Fridays, she is a second year at the University of Virginia, which I think to those of us who weren't able to get into UVA, that means she's a sophomore. She's also in the Youth Leadership Initiative with the Center of Politics at UVA and is working on creating lesson plans for youth civic education. I would ask that we offer Nikki Reeves the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the senator. Would Nikki Reeves please rise in the gallery if you're able? Nikki, thank you so much for joining us here today. We're honored by your presence and that you would take the time to be with us. We're also grateful to your entire family, your wonderful dad, Senator Reeves, who serves so ably here in the Senate. He is very proud of you. He talks about you all the time. And we'll be playing basketball with him. We'll take good care of him. We won't hurt him in the charity game, but he beams with pride every time he talks about you. We are proud of you at UVA. Keep up the great work. You have a very, very bright future. So I would ask everyone please to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to a member of our family, Nikki Reeves. Senior senator from Richmond City, Senator Sturdivant.
Mr. President, also with us this morning is a really wonderful group of people that I know that the senator from Chesterfield has been involved with in the past. They are Classical Conversations, and this is a group of faithful educators and families, really wonderful people in our community who are with us today, learning more about the legislative process and watching some of the session here on the Senate floor. I'd ask that we also offer Classical Conversations the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the senator. Would our friends from Classical Conversations please rise in the gallery if you're able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We, again, echo the generous and eloquent words of the senior senator from Richmond City and also on behalf of the senator from Chesterfield, Senator Chase. We are grateful that you took the time to be with us today to learn more about the legislative process. I actually had the honor of meeting you all out in the rotunda and was so impressed by every single one of you, and particularly our young people. You guys are very bright, and we are so proud of you. So I would ask everyone, please, to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to our friends from Classical Conversations. Senator from Northern Chesapeake, Senator Spruill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for an introduction.
I thank the senator. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. With us today, we have a group of Black Brand Hampton Roads Regional Black Chamber. We have Blair Durham, Shadell Jackson, Jamel Matthews, and guests. Would you please welcome them?
I thank the senator. Would our friends from the Black Brand Hampton Roads Regional Black Chamber please rise in the gallery if you're able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are grateful that you took the time to be with us. Also very grateful for your advocacy and your work in the private sector with the Chamber at Hampton Roads. And we echo the generous words of the senator from Northern Chesapeake, Senator Spruill, and we're grateful for what you do to open up opportunity for everyone, African Americans and so many others. So thank you for joining us. You are welcome here anytime, particularly the beautiful, cute little one that you're holding. And I would ask everyone please to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to our friends from Black Brand Hampton Roads Regional Black Chamber. The senator from Petersburg, Senator Dance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for two introductions.
I thank the senator. You have the floor.
Thank you. First, Mr. President, visiting us in the gallery today are the Petersburg High School leadership class, of the government class. And they are here accompanied by Mr. Jamie Moore, and he is filling in for Mrs. Terry Smith, who is the government teacher that thinks it's very important that the students learn about who would like to represent them in local, state, and federal government, and encourage them to learn and get involved. And so these students volunteered in the election process last year. And this year I invited them to come and see us at work to validate how well we do once we are elected to these auspicious positions. And so they are here today, and I hope they see us at our best. So, Mr. President, would you please extend to them the warm welcome of the Senate?
I thank the senator. Would our friends from Petersburg High School in the gallery please rise if you're able? It's a wonderful, big, beautiful group. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are so grateful that you took the time to be with us to learn more about the legislative process. We are so proud of you, and echo the words of the senator from Petersburg, Senator Dance, who is also incredibly proud of you. I also just saw Delegate LaCherice Aird a minute ago, and she sends her greetings and thanks to you as well. I've had the pleasure of being at Petersburg High School. It's a special place, and you guys all have very, very bright futures. So dream big, work hard, and great things will come your way. I would like to ask everybody to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to our friends from Petersburg High School. Senator from Petersburg, Senator Dance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Visiting us also at the Capitol today are the Hopewell High School football team and their head coach, Mr. Ricky Irby. Their assistant coaches, Mr. Brooke Parker, Mr. Brian Moore, Mr. Jerry McCoy, Mr. Jonathan Lewis, Mr. Rusty Akers, and Mr. Billy Pollard. And Mr. President, I am very proud to say that they are the state championship, and they have only the last time they won this championship was in 2003. So with that coach that they have, that head coach and all those coaches that I mentioned to you, these kids have done some awesome work, and they make Virginia proud. They are deemed the Virginia High School League AAA state football champions. And I know that the senator from Fairfax, Senator Peterson, would love to have some of these guys that he could transfer them into basketball players, but they are football players. In this body, we introduced a Senate Joint Resolution SJ 106 commending the Hopewell High School football team on their accomplishments. And since you all unanimously voted for this resolution, I wanted you to see them up close and personal. And so, Mr. President, would you please give them the warm welcome of the Senate?
I thank the senator. Would the AAA state champion Hopewell High School football team and coaches please rise in the gallery if you're able? Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are honored by your presence. We're incredibly proud of everything that you have accomplished and congratulate you on a wonderful championship victory. And I had the opportunity to meet with you a little bit ago, right before session, and was just so impressed by every single one of you. You're not only great athletes and great football players, but really brilliant young men, and you have wonderful coaches who care deeply about you, not just as players, but as people. You have amazingly bright futures, and echo the generous and eloquent words of Senator from Petersburg, Senator Dance. We are all incredibly, incredibly grateful for what you're doing, want you to keep going, dream big, work hard, and great things will come your way. I also learned this, your star quarterback is going to William & Mary next year on a full scholarship, and he's also the valedictorian of your high school. So God is good. I would ask everybody please join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to the state champion Hopewell High School football team. The Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise for the purposes of multiple introductions.
I thank the Senator. You have the floor multiple times.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, first, want to offer the warm welcome of the Senate to Reverend Louis Florio from Messiah Lutheran Church in Mechanicsville. He is here with his wife, Christine, and we thank him for getting us started off on a good note this morning and appreciate him taking the time to spend with us and offer him the warm welcome of the Senate.
I thank the Senator. Would Reverend Louis Florio and his wonderful wife, Christine, please rise to the gallery if you're able. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Thank you, Reverend, for that really beautiful prayer. You shared that was the first time that we had the opportunity to hear from you here in the Senate, and certainly will not be the last. But we are grateful for your kind and wonderful words and for your moral leadership here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're also grateful to your wonderful wife, Christine. Thank you. We know it takes a family to make that kind of commitment to service and to leadership here in the Commonwealth. So you're welcome back here anytime. You're friends of the Senate, and I would ask everyone please to join me and extend the warm welcome of the Senate to Reverend Florio and his wife, Christine. Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Thank you, Mr. President. For a second introduction, if you could offer the warm welcome of the Senate to a group from the Hanover Chamber of Commerce. They are with their leader, Executive Director Melissa Miller, and they are Troy Forehand, Amanda Porch, Kenny Janes, and Mark Lee. If you could just offer them the warm welcome to the Senate. They're talking about issues that are important to business, the Chamber, and important to Hanover.
I thank the Senator. Would our friends from the Hanover Chamber of Commerce in the gallery please rise if you're able. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We are grateful that you took the time to come here to the Senate and to the Capitol to advocate for business issues. Very important that we continue to grow our economy here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. You're represented by a very, very good man, Senator McDougal, and appreciate all his leadership and echo his kind words and generous words about each of you. You're welcome back here anytime, and I would ask everybody to please join me to extend the warm welcome of the Senate to our friends from the Hanover Chamber of Commerce. Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have with us in the gallery another group of individuals. Mr. President, this is a little more somber. They are our Commissioner of DMV, Rick Holcomb, and the family of Barbara S. Klotz. And Mr. President, for some of you in the body, particularly those who worked on transportation issues, you might remember Ms. Klotz was the Director of Legislative Services for the Department of Motor Vehicles. She was the one who reviewed all the legislation, came down when you did it wrong. She pointed that out to you. When you did it right, she might have still found an issue, make sure that you got it fixed. And Mr. President, she passed away suddenly in November, and we're going to take up a resolution in her memory momentarily. But if you could offer Commissioner Holcomb and the entire Klotz family the warm welcome of the Senate, our thanks for sharing their family member Barbara with us, and our condolences for their loss.
I thank the Senator. Would the Klotz family and Commissioner Holcomb please rise in the gallery if you are able. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It really is an honor to have you here. We see your beautiful, wonderful family, and we are here today also to honor your amazing family member, Barbara Klotz, and thank you for sharing such a wonderful person with all of us. She made us all better here in the Capitol, in the Senate, but also in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It is the rare person that commits their life to service in the way that Barbara did, and we are so deeply grateful that you gave us the opportunity to have her make us all better. We are better today, we'll be better tomorrow, and forever in the Commonwealth of Virginia because of her and because of you. So I echo the eloquent and generous words of the Senator from Hanover in celebrating a great person and a wonderful life. And I would ask everybody please to join me in extending the warm welcome of the Senate to our friends from the DMV and from the Klotz family. Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that the rules be suspended and SR 31 be taken up for immediate consideration.
I thank the senator. The question is, shall the rules be suspended and SR 31 be taken up for immediate consideration? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The rules are suspended to take up the resolution for immediate consideration. The clerk will please read the title.
Senate Resolution Number 31, celebrating the life of Barbara S. Klotz.
Senator from Hanover, Senator McDougal.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate agree to the resolution celebrating the life of Barbara S. Klotz in the normal manner.
Thank the senator. All those in favor of agreeing to the memorial resolution for Barbara S. Klotz, please rise. The resolution is agreed to. The senior senator from Loudoun County, Senator Black.
Mr. President, could the journal reflect that the gentlelady from Fauquier, my seatmate, is absent on pressing personal business?
Thank the senator. The journal will so reflect. The senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Senator.
Mr. President, can the Senate Journal also reflect that my seatmate, the gentleman from Grayson County, is away from the Capitol this morning on pressing personal business?
I thank the senator. The journal will so reflect. Are there any other senators who wish to be heard in the morning hour? Is there any other business to come before the morning hour? Seeing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move that all of the House bills on the third reading on the uncontested calendar, which would include all House bills on pages 1 through 3, including House Bill 119 through House Bill 1092, that they be placed on their final passage in the block after the adoption of any amendments. Any senator who desires to remove a House bill from the block, please do so after the clerk has read the number of that bill.
I thank the senator. The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar third reading, pages 1 through 3, House Bill 119 through House Bill 1092, be placed upon their final passage in a block after the adoption of any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desiring a bill be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will read the number of the bills.
House Bill 119, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 124, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 179, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 495, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 788, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 894, reported from the Committee on Finance. House Bill 1092, reported from the Committee on Finance with amendment.
Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Mr. President, I move the adoption of the committee amendment.
Thank the senator. The question is, shall the committee amendment be adopted? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee amendment is adopted. The question is, shall the House bills pass in block? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The bills in the block pass.
Regular calendar, House Bill on third reading. House Bill 1015, a bill relating to multi-jurisdiction grand jury investigations, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Senator from King George, Senator Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could that go by for another day?
Without objection, House Bill 1015 will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move that all the House bills on the second reading on both the uncontested and regular calendar, which would include all House bills on pages 4 through 22, including House Bill 1 through House Bill 1564, that the rules of the Senate be suspended and that the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
I thank the senator. Question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 4 through 22, House Bill 1 through House Bill 1564, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, no 0.
Ayes 38, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, I would now move that all the said bills be passed by for the day.
I thank the senator. The question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on third reading be passed by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day. Senator from James City County, Senator Norman.
Mr. President, does that complete today's calendar, sir?
Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Senator from Franklin County, Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for a brief personal privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to notify everybody today and thank everybody today that after this session, myself and the senator from Richmond City and the senator from Accomack will be traveling with the governor to Patrick County to sign Senate Bill 86. And so I wanted to thank all of you all who supported this bill, even if it took you twice to vote for it. I want to thank you. But more importantly, Mr. President, I want to make sure that everybody knows that this was a great week for me, because not only are we doing this, but I got a Valentine wishes from the governor right here on the floor of the Senate, and now he and I are taking a trip to the country. So I think our relationship is progressing quite well, Mr. President. So thank you all for the support, and we'll see you on Monday. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the senator. Have a wonderful trip. Senator from Prince William County, Senator McPike.
Mr. President, I rise for a brief point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to comment briefly. We had some discussion yesterday, and I was not intending to extend that discussion, save for a call from my daughter last night. And so I did reflect on some of the events of the last couple days. Wednesday was Valentine's Day, and I had the opportunity to go home and see my 3 girls, and was grateful to be able to give them a hug. We know that the events from Florida, we have so many parents that did not have that opportunity, and so many more other students wounded. The next morning, as we were packing up and the girls were getting ready for school, my wife caught me at the door, and she said, "You know what, my stomach is churning. I don't want to send the girls to school." And I think this is a conversation that a lot of families had over the last couple of days. And you'd understand even more so if you watched the horrific video captured by one of the kids as the gunfire is ricocheting and going off in the school, and kids are laying on the ground trying to find cover. So last night my daughter called me to talk about what happened. And she said to me, all the kids in school, that's all they could talk about. It's all they could think about all day. And she asked me a question. She said, "Why can't we do something about these militarized weapons, Dad?" And my stomach sunk as a father, as a state senator. The answer that came to mind is almost straight out of Hamilton. You don't have the votes. And I really hope not to have that discussion with my daughter again, and we find ways to find the votes.
Thank the senator. Senator from Augusta, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise for a brief announcement.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. As you're all aware, the Senate Finance Committee has been working diligently with staff for several weeks now to put together a budget. It is our hope that we'll be able to wrap up some of the details of that budget by late evening, a little bit tomorrow, and that our staff will be able to print it up. And it is our intent to unveil that budget in a committee meeting at 5 p.m. Sunday afternoon. So if any members are going to be back in town, we will be doing that at 5 p.m. Sunday afternoon.
I thank the Senator. Do any other senators wish to be recognized? Is there any other business to come before the Senate? Clerk will report any announcements on the desk.
Tomorrow, Saturday, February 17th. It's a very important day in the Commonwealth. It's a happy birthday to Lieutenant Governor Fairfax.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam. Thank you.
Sunday, February 18th, the Committee on Finance will meet at 5 p.m. in Pocahontas Committee Room B. Monday, February 19th, the Committee for Courts of Justice will meet at 9 a.m. This is a change, 9 a.m. in Senate Room A in Pocahontas. The Republican Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 2. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1. And the temperatures will drop into the 20s by early Saturday morning throughout the Commonwealth. Freezing rain, sleet, and snow is expected in Salem, Stanton, Lynchburg, Culpeper, and Northern Virginia, Saturday afternoon through midnight Saturday night. Sunday will be clear with temperatures in the 50s. Happy birthday, Governor.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Thank you to all the senators and our great staff. Very honored to get to serve alongside each of you. The Senator from Bedford, Senator Newman.
Mr. President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon Monday.
I thank the Senator. The question is, shall the Senate stand adjourned until 12 noon on Monday? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate stands adjourned until 12 noon on Monday. Have a great weekend.